Transport is a major deal nowadays. People need to be able to get from point A to point B without having to waste so much cash, which leads up to spending a lot of money. Efficiency transport will double the efficiency of all vehicles in the world from 30 to 60 miles per gallon. The only challenge would be that this will impact car size and power.
Solar PV would be ideal to use throughout the next 50 years as it will cut coal-based electricity, multiplying the current rate by 100. We will need to use 4 million windmills to produce hydrogen for fuel cell cars. Although PV cell materials will be expensive, the rapid production of electricity and distribution will cover it up.
Buildings are also an essential part of life. This is where you work, go to school, or even live at. The most important place to try and keep efficient would be your home. Many people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to make their home green and be able to have the best heating and cooling, electricity, and insulation. This is a great expense for people. So another great efficiency idea would be to use the latest technology and only the best to build new buildings and remodel the existing ones. Not only is it a great and low-cost idea, but it will make the building a better place. The challenge we would find later on is the size of the buildings and the consumer demands for appliances.
Fuel switching would be a cheap natural process where we would replace coal-burning electric plants with natural gas plants. During this process, we would still be using the same amount of natural gas that is still used for all purposes today. Gas is less carbon intense than coal, and unlike coal, it is not heavy, dirty, nor requires storage space. Also, natural gas is applied continuously, ready all the time. This cheap process can result in an emissions reduction globally.
Something important we all use is electricity. This powers our life. Everything we do relies on electricity. An efficient electricity idea would be to raise plant efficiency from 40% to 60%. This could make our daily life run smoother with more electricity to use. A challenge that we would face is that there would be an increase in plant costs.
Conserving the amount of miles each driver is allowed and cutting miles traveled by all passenger vehicles in half will reduce the amount of CO2 the cars let out into the atmosphere and reduce polluted air. As technology advances, electric cars running on other things aside from gas will continue to grow, eliminating this wedge. Public transport would also increase, reducing the miles traveled in car by itself. Since this wedge does not require new innovation, it will be very cheap and effective.
A great innovation for a cheaper and better fuel would be biofuels. Not only would they replace petroleum, but it would increase the world's ethanol production by a factor of 12.
Hydrogen is a fuel that is in great demand because it contributes to a low-carbon society. When burned, the only production left behind is water vapor. Today, hydrogen production plants are pumping out about 100 million tons of captured carbon. With hydrogen fuel displacing hydrocarbon fuels, carbon will decrease drastically. Hydrogen will now be produced 10 times quicker than the current rate. Although the cost is high and new infrastructure is needed, hydrogen fuel will greatly aid the environment.
Taxpayers and consumers will be content with these products because they are a cheap and efficient way to switch to better the environment. Energy companies won't be too pleased knowing that the potential customers are being driven away because they are making the switch to a more efficient green product. Environmentalist groups will be extremely happy with the change because people are now living in a greener life, helping preserve the environment.
Manufacturers will grade our wedges at 5 as more production will be needed for efficiency technology for buildings, vehicles, and plants that produce solar hydrogen energy. Industrialized country governments will not be content and grade us a 3. Industrialized country governments have their countries already running on resources like coal and oil, and it will be a long process to switch fully. Developing country governments will not be happy with our wedges with the new technology and infrastructure needed. Many countries will find it too expensive and unaffordable. Also, many developing countries are already very dependent on oil and coal and will not appreciate the big change. This is sure to earn us a 2.